Nathan Jones, your thoughts on a 1-1 draw with Cambridge United?
I'm disappointed again, obviously. The 3 points were under absolutely no problem whatsoever. I thought they were cruising the game really, without really being brilliant. We were just effective. Couldn't get the second goal, and then it all changed on a decision.
Yeah, let's talk about that decision then, because I can see you're obviously something that has had a major impact on the match. James Collins, a yellow card for handball to begin with, and then it appeared a second yellow for dissent after a corner that should have been a goal kick was given.
Yeah, well, for me, James was silly getting a yellow card there, and then when you're on a yellow, then just don't get involved in stuff like that. But the referee, I felt, could have handled it better, and I've spoke to him already, and look, he was fine when we speak to him, and he's thanked me for my attitude, and the referee last week thanked me for my attitude and the way I speak and stuff. I think done me any good. But it's clearly a goal kick. We've given a corner. So he's, irate about that. So he's gone at it the wrong way. He's gone and with his arms open, and apparently the letter of the law, if you go with your arms open to a referee, you get a booking. Felt he could have handled it a little bit better. This is it's a big game, and where tempers, not temper, but there's a lot of pressure and a lot of enthusiasm and desire goes into these games. And I just felt he could have done it. He made a mistake. Colo had made a mistake. Coming up to him, just handle it better, just control it, don't just give him a second yellow and send him off. That ruins games, and that changed the game, because then we bit back to the wall and we defended and had to defend out for a point, whereas we were absolutely controlling the game and cruising the game.
James Collins had broken the deadlock in the first half with that goal, and that came at a good spell for Luton, didn't it, during that first half, after a bright start from the hosts?
Yeah, look, they playing down the hill, and they're at home, and we first 10 minutes they came out and they were on front foot. Then we were the better side, and we had a lot of opportunities and a lot of chances and things to have taken the lead. We took the lead at a good time, and look, I didn't feel we had any problem. We started the second half well. Marek hardly had a save to make, really, in terms of that. Felt we controlled them, and didn't have a problem. It's just then sending off, and we end up with a point.
I mean, the sending off also came at a time when Cambridge had made a couple of changes, and their substitutes, to be fair to them, you refer to your players as game changers, and that did have an impact, didn't it, on the game?
Well, yeah, but they made them about 5 minutes before we got a player sent off, so I don't think they had an impact in 11. They didn't have a chance to develop because they changed shape. We were happy with them changing shape because we know what we have. And the game changed on the sending off. Simple as that. We wouldn't have lost that game. We wouldn't have drawn that game if it had been 10 men. If we hadn't gone down to 10 men. But once again, we've lost. Lack of discipline. We keep self-destructing. It's lack of discipline. How many sending offs have we had this year? 7, 8. Normally we don't lose when we do it, but we've had 7 or 8. It's been a lack of discipline all through the season, and that's cost us.
And of all the games for James to miss, it's next Saturday at home to second place Accrington Stanley.
Well, it don't matter. It's cost us here today. 3 points here puts us in a wonderful position again. But we keep missing this opportunity, and I'm at the loss at the minute to actually find out how they go to it, because we put pressure on it. We said this is no one playing today, so your position, there's no result's going to go for you or against you. It's just your result. Go and win the game, and you put yourself in a fantastic position. But they don't.
Danny Hilton back in the starting 11, put in a tremendous performance, but he's gone off substitute in the second half. How serious the injury? Or
no, just stiffened up, because of obviously he hasn't played regularly and things. So big shifts, and he put in big shifts when he plays, and it was great to have him back. So I thought he was excellent. He was probably the outstanding player on the pitch, really.
So no issues with him featuring again next week?
No, God willing, no.
And Harry Cornick not in the squad today. Injury issue there for Harry?
Just again, sore hamstring from a bit of cramp. It turned into a real sore hamstring, so we didn't want to. We knew it would be a heavy pitch today, so we didn't want to gamble with him. That's the only thing. So we're. Nothing serious. He'll be back Monday for training.
And talking of injuries, Lawson Diath had a rare start in the 11, and he's unfortunately picked up an injury tackling and fouling Ikpeatsu, didn't he?
Yeah, look, just opened up his knee a little bit, his medial, so it's an unfortunate one for him. We've got opportunity for him today, but it happens.
But that gave an opportunity to Luke Gambin, who I thought had an excellent game for Luton.
I thought he was outstanding. I thought he was a real bright when he came on. That's what we called game changers, and he was bright. He was he was excellent, I thought, and it's a credit, because he's had to be patient. But no, I'm delighted with him. I was delighted with them right up until the sending off. I'm delighted with them. But that changed the game. We sat back then and we invited the pressure, and it's difficult to not to. And then with the size they've got, and the people in the box, we couldn't defend it and see it out.
Any criticism for the actual equalising goal, or just fair play to Cambridge for creating it?
We've got beaten at the back stick. We got beaten the other day at the thing. We have to adjust. We can't get beaten in between people. It's a decent ball in, but if we see it out and we mark in the box, but we didn't, which is frustrating. But look, the sending off changed the game, and I think it could have been handled in a lot better way.
Certainly the key element to the afternoon, but we look to regroup ready for the big game at Kenilworth Road next week now.
Yeah, it's a big game, and it was a big game anyway, but it's a big game, so yeah, we'll regroup and we'll go again next week.
Thanks for your time, Nathan. Cheers.
Sorry to bother you, Nathan. I missed the first 30 seconds. Did you say that you felt it could have been handled in a better way by the referee? By that, I'm assuming you're saying that you felt he shouldn't have sent your player off.
Well, after making a mistake himself and giving a corner when it was clearly a goal kick, because if a Cambridge player heads it over the byline, by the definition of the law,
Taylor headed it out.
Taylor headed it out, so by the definition of the law, that's a goal kick to Luton Town. So if that had happened, which should have happened, then the other incident wouldn't have happened. So when then Collins comes at him with his arms open, by the letter of the law, it's a booking. But surely he could have then just understood a little bit and said, hey, calm down, it's a big game here, I know you're irate and I've made a mistake there, or dubious one, just calm down. Could have, instead of just flashing bang a yellow. So I felt he could have handled it better.
Do you feel they both were yellows though in the context of one of that end?
Well, that's a definite yellow because he's handballed it, tried to poking his hand. It's too far away from him. It's a petulant little handball. He's not trying to deceive anyone. It's petulant. So by the letter of the law again, it's a yellow card. But I felt the second one could have been handled better, because if you go by the letter of the law of everything, I mean, Gary Deegan was booked. Then he must have given 18 fouls away. So by the letter of the law, that's a repetitive thing. But they weren't anything that it would have been harsh if he'd got booked again. And I just felt he could have handled it better. You handle a game. You're a referee. You handle a game. You control your players and stuff. And that decision, that's all. So I'm not I felt the referee had a good game generally. But that when I spoke to him after. There's no issue, And I go in again with, as I said, with a good attitude, and I praised for my attitude. But I was praised for my attitude last week because that decision again probably cost us the 3 points. So it's frustrating.
7 or 8 red cards you mentioned, and you're at a bit of a loss.